Greetings, Algo Artisans. Today is a big day. We're going to find out if Ethereum is approved for the ETF, and it's probably going to happen in the next couple hours. So we're going to take a look at the charts and try to figure out where price might go. Let's jump into the charts right now. Okay, so here we are looking at the Ethereum chart, and we're looking all the way back to the beginning of the year. As we know, Bitcoin and crypto in general has done really well since mid-year last year, and then this year has been phenomenal. As a matter of fact, Ethereum has underperformed to a certain degree. However, when it runs, it really runs, as evidenced by this move from 3rd of February all the way up to the 11th of March. This move just kept going up with very little pullbacks, if any, and that's pretty rare for any asset to do over that long period of time. So Ethereum really has the capability to move when it can move. What might cause it to move? The Ethereum ETF. Now we do have to remember a little bit of cautionary tale here. Bitcoin is going to be the example. We're going to look back at the Bitcoin ETF and what price did, and then we're going to come back to Ethereum, but I just wanted to start off by showing you where Ethereum is right now. Price headed up until mid-March when Bitcoin did fall off. Bitcoin made its all-time high, started to slow down, and most of crypto slowed down with it. However, Ethereum has held pretty decently in this range. Basically, it was two ranges, so one range for several days, a few weeks after that move down, and that was between 3150 and 3670, and then price broke down into a lower range and held there for quite some time. That range was between 2880 and 3350, and then it actually compressed a little bit for the last few weeks down to about 2880 and the top side at 3160. So the price has been compressing more or less into a point. Now it did pop up very strongly earlier this week because there was some news that the ETF approval may actually happen. It's been surmised by many for most of the year that the ETF for Ethereum was not going to be approved. Probably there were applications, but a lot of the smart money did not think this would happen until next year. However, it appears that things have changed. We've talked about this on some of our other shows, so I'm not going to go too deep into the politics of it, but it seems as if perhaps the market just wants to take advantage of the momentum and the government's become more friendly to the crypto space. And there is even now a bill in the House being passed along to the Senate. The House did approve the bill, and it has to do with crypto regulation. Some people think it's going to be favorable to crypto. Some think it's not favorable enough. This is always going to be the split. But long story short, it does seem as if the US government is going to move forward with allowing crypto to be in the space, in the sphere of investment and financial transactions. In the meantime, this seems to be evidence the ETF is getting closer to approval for Ethereum, and Ethereum is poking above this prior range. If I were to extend the top of the mid-March to early April range and just put a line across the top of that, price has broken above that in anticipation of this approval. Now, the main question that we have is what's going to happen if the approval is granted today? What may happen to the price? And a good way to look at this might be by comparing it to Bitcoin and what happened during its ETF approval. So we can go back in time to Bitcoin's ETF approval, which happened in early 2024. Specifically, I believe it was January 10th. Either way, I know what it looked like on the price action right about here. So here it is. Price was climbing up prior to approval, and when approval happened, let me zoom in on this, price really jumped up hard and made a local high at about 48,000. Now, I did tell everybody at the time, based on where the entire market was and based on the way things usually go and the data that I had, that this would be what you call a sell the news event. So price had been ranging up until the announcement, and there was a fake announcement. Basically, somebody hacked the SEC X account and said there was an approval, and price spiked up and headed back down. That did give us some clues as to what might happen, at least initially. And then for about a week, say 5 days, price spiked up upon approval, and it actually ended up getting sold off. So a lot of retail was interested in buying and effectively pushing price up. But what actually happened was it's a combination of factors that caused price to sell off. Now, generally, when retail is going to buy hard and the smart money knows ahead of time, smart money will oftentimes take advantage of that, and they will allow a large amount of influx to enter their short positions, and then they will sell off and cause the price to drop where they take a lot of profit by covering their shorts. So they basically take advantage of the retail FOMO. The other reason this could have gone down, and again, there can be more than one reason, would be that Grayscale Bitcoin Trust product has what's called a premium to NAV, nominal account value. So what that means is that with that account, owning the Grayscale product means that when price goes up, you make more money. It also means that when price goes down below a certain level, you actually have more of a discount. So there's a little bit more volatility in the Grayscale product. And when price popped up like this, there was a large premium, meaning that people who owned the Grayscale Bitcoin Trust product could sell their Grayscale Bitcoin Trust product into cash and then take that cash and rotate it into either Bitcoin itself or into the ETFs and basically have what's called an arbitrage play where they can sell something for more and then turn around and buy it the same thing right away for less. And so when that happened, whether or not that was the main reason or at least part of the reason, price got a lot of downward pressure. So everybody thought price was going to go to the moon, and instead price did not do so. It dipped below structure. And then of course, V the Gorilla, who is my business partner, and of course, if you're listening to the morning shows, he is there almost every day. He let us know in our private group that the bottom would be around 39,000, 38,000, and sure enough, price got down to there, and as soon as it rotated back up, he let us know that it was probably going to keep going up. So this is the kind of data we have in our private group, and the reason V knows this is because he does a lot of large deals around the world. So he is in touch with what you would call the smart money, and he is trading with some pretty high-level traders. That being the case, we saw that happen with Bitcoin. So let's take a look now at Ethereum. Back to our Ethereum chart with the ranges that we drew. Let us say that we get approval today. Will we see a sell-off happen like we saw with Bitcoin, right? Will we see price initially pop up with retail FOMO and then we see Ethereum sell off to a certain degree? Will we see that same pattern where it goes below that consolidation, maybe builds a little bit of long positions and then heads up? That is quite possible. And there is a Grayscale Ethereum product. I believe they call it ETH. So the same type of mechanics may be in play here. We may see something like that. So the only thing we can really do though ahead of the announcement is we can mark out the structure levels, and if price breaks any of these levels, it's giving us some clues as to what may happen. Now just breaking a level is not enough. What you really need is for price to break a level and then to stay above or below that level. In this case, let's say this is a bullish event and price goes up above this local high of 40,080. If price stays above 40,080 for more than a couple of weeks, then that means that there's a decent chance that price will continue up to negotiate that all-time high from the last cycle, which is 48.80. Now, it does seem, according to what I'm seeing here, that Ethereum does like things that end in 80, and a lot of assets trade with those kind of algorithms. So the next move up based on a Fibonacci extension that I did this morning for our private group, if price can break above 48.80, the next place it might go would be 52.80. That would be the upside target for this move, okay? But this might take several weeks, and again, price may actually move back down. So let's say price heads back down. It could, of course, just range around 3,000 or even bounce off 3,000 and play in this area until it gathers enough steam and until Bitcoin is ready to move back up. Of course, I am assuming that Bitcoin will move up as we are entering the bull market phase, and prior bull markets, several weeks after the halving, prices of all cryptos tend to go up, Bitcoin leading, and usually Ethereum being number 2 after Bitcoin takes a break. Now, if this happens to be a bearish event and price heads down as we discussed, but somehow breaks below 28.80, then price could head down as low as 21.80, and it might have to play around just a little bit here before it heads up. So what price is going to do is going to depend a lot on what happens at these price levels. And again, the mechanics of the market might be such that we see another sell-off. So where price might go would be these levels that I've drawn out here. Now, another way we can take a look at where price might go on the chart is by using the Kingfisher's liquidity solution. The Kingfisher.io is a great website. It has a lot of different types of solutions. It's got options data. You can actually trade straight from there, and there is a referral link, so you can use that to get discounted access. What we're going to do now, though, is get the liquidity map. You can actually do this for free on the Kingfisher. So I'm going to click right there, grab this, and we have some areas where price would go to the upside and to the downside. According to my testing, if the algorithms prefer a move downwards, then we look at downside liquidity areas. If the algorithms prefer a move upward, then we we look at upside liquidity blocks. Now to the upside, we have a couple of obvious spots here. We have about 4320, 4500, and 4600. So let's put that on the chart. 4320, 4500, and 4600. I'm going to code these yellow to distinguish those as liquidity. And let's take a look to the downside. Very close to price, we have a block at 3750, and then we have more at 3100 and at 2975. So we've got 3750, which is pretty close to price. Very right pretty much in that area. 3100, which is down in this area prior to the pump, and then 2975 right about here. So if price were to move to the upside, we have some areas up above this recent high, but prior to the all-time high. So price would probably run up there and grab those if this was a bullish event. However, if this becomes a bearish event, price might head down and grab these lower 3100 and 2975 type blocks. It's just another tool to add to our kit as far as where price might go. So I hope this was helpful. We're going to keep an eye on this, and if I'm able to, I will cover this live as the event happens. What we do over at Algo Factory is we help people develop trading algorithms. They use some of the market that you see on the screen. We also help them build algorithms that can help them predict price, help them predict the path of price, and if they want to, we can help them be on the path to having it coded, basically, right? They can have it coded to trade while they're not even at the computer. Most of our traders are not doing that. They're just building a manual algorithm, but that is an option to anybody who knows how to code or has somebody who does. So it's a really great program. As a matter of fact, we have some traders who are in different parts of the process of building their trading algo. Let's hear from one of them right now.
This is ThinkFree's Algo Factory testimonial. I began my prescription for Algo Factory the summer of 2023. I am now 70 years old, and I have set a goal to have a supplementary income by learning to trade. I have been putting in about 3 to 4 hours per week of study time. In spite of this small time of commitment, I am determined to learn to trade. I set a goal of slow, steady progress in my learning. It is now March of 2024, and I have been delighted that through the articulate speech and hands-on help and support from Cowboy, I have developed an algo that looks very promising. I've come to appreciate Cowboy's remarkable ability to communicate and teach. He's not just knowledgeable, but also very creative in his shoot-from-the-hips approach. I wonder, is that where the name Cowboy came from? I have followed the Algo Cowboy and V the Guerrilla Economist for more than 3 years, and have found them to be very respectful, caring, and firmly rooted in reality. By that I mean they have a clear, deep, no-nonsense understanding of the world we live in, not just in trading and economics, but geopolitically and, dare I say, spiritually as well. For me, this fact makes working with them all the more gratifying and secure. This has and continues to be a great investment of my time and money. Also ends up being fun with the humor that is shared amongst our Algo Factory group members. Thank you, Cowboy.
All right, well, thanks for listening to that. Please come over to algofactory.tech. Don't forget, trade your job, upgrade your life. We'll see you on the next one.